Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about one of those cases that just makes all the inner rage that you repress want to come out. I thought that's perfect for the holiday season. The least Christmassy possible thing ever if you celebrate. One quick thing I did want to mention is that in my community tab, I made a post asking for your feedback because starting January, I'm revamping the channel, so my content is going to be the same but different, if that makes sense, and I would really like your feedback. So if you haven't seen that yet and you want to leave some feedback, please do that. So really stay until the end of this video because the ending is probably what makes this even more rage-worthy. Northwich woman jailed for cocaine-fueled sex with a dog. So you'd think it can't really get worse, but it genuinely does, which this whole roller coaster of an article, you'll see. I'll link it down below because there's some parts I leave out because they're simply not really interesting or relevant. A woman has been jailed after she admitted having cocaine-fueled sex with a dog and possessing images of the disgusting incident. Claire Goodyear of Spencer Street in Northwich was described as manipulative and deceitful by a probation officer. Needless to say, bestiality, I don't approve, duh. But there always is someone who will come and say, you know, like, what's wrong with it? In fact, I was reading comments about this article on Reddit, and there was one person who's like, what's the big deal? Let people do what they want. It's their business. And let me just remind you that bestiality is equivalent to animal abuse, okay? So when you wonder what's wrong with it, it's animal abuse. End of. The 60-year-old has twice been convicted of possessing indecent images of children back in 2006 and 2009, with the judge admitting she had been astonishingly lucky to avoid previous spells behind bars after receiving suspended sentences. Paulinus Barnes, prosecuting at Chester Crown Court on Wednesday, December 22nd, said the police had called to her home on July 19th, 2019 to carry out a routine check due to her being on the sex offenders register for life. So this woman got a suspended sentence for having CP. That alone fills me with rage because there are few crimes that make me angrier than crimes against children, and just having CP and getting a suspended sentence, I just don't understand how that happens. I truly have no idea how that happens. And every time I see things like this, I wonder who was this judge and why did they think it was okay or like not that big of a deal enough to give a suspended sentence for CP? Like, what do you have on your computer, judge? That's my question now. Like, you're starting to look suspicious to me. Officers took a laptop which contained evidence Goodyear had searched the internet for bestiality content, and when a full analysis of the equipment was finally completed some 2 years later, it emerged hidden folders contained 31 indecent images of Goodyear taking part in a sex act with an Alsatian breed of dog. Mr. Barnes said she admitted to possession of the images, said she had fantasized about it for a number of years, and after talking about it with people in Northwich, was put in touch with others in Bournemouth. She traveled down there in December 2018 and took part in the sex act with other people and the Alsatian dog. First of all, how is it that 2 years later it emerged that there were some hidden files? Like, how well hidden could they have been? Keep in mind that she admitted to having possession of the images once they were found. So this is where I get even more pissed off. Simon Mills, defending, said his client had always been frank and honest with the probation service, and although accepting the behavior had been depraved and disgusting, called on the judge to consider another suspended sentence. He said, "This incident took place some 3 years ago. The picture now is one of sporadic offending. This is not a case where the offending is getting more and more serious. She will do everything asked of her by the court, and there are tentative signs of improvement in her attitude and approach." He's her lawyer. He's being paid to defend her. Sure. But to say that the client had been frank and honest, it's like she only admitted to having possession of the images after they were found 2 years later. So frank and honest, it would have been frank and honest if she'd told them when they actually seized the computer, but she didn't say anything. So frank and honest, I don't think so. Plus, I don't know how frank and honest someone can be if they had CP on their computer in the past. That doesn't really reek of honesty to me. It doesn't reek of morality to me. So, like, it's such a stupid defense. Now, like I said, he's being paid to defend her, but at least don't bullshit, because this is straight up just untrue and not even believable. It's not convincing. And it's not just because I think this person is depraved, but genuinely weak, absolutely weak. The fact that the incident took place 3 years ago, so what? So what? The incident still took place. Like, a crime doesn't just like vanish because it was years ago, especially a crime that involves abuse against an animal plus drugs. The drug part I could almost forget. If it was just drugs, no CP, no animal abuse, then I'd be a little bit more whatever about it. But no. This involves abuse. The claim that this is a case where the offending isn't getting more and more serious, it's like, first of all, we don't know that. Because if there were hidden files that took 2 years to find, God knows what else they might not have found that's more recent, A. And B, it's like, we don't know what this woman does, you know, when she's not being checked on. Like, she gets checked on every so often because of the sex offender thing, but it's like, if she doesn't take pictures of it or videos, how do you know that the offending isn't getting worse? It seems like such a stupid thing to say, because it's like, the offending has already happened, so it not getting worse is the bare minimum. I don't even know what's worse than the bare minimum, but it's not anything to be proud of. Judge Everett told Goodyear he did agree with the probation service assessing her as being low risk of reoffending, as he sent her to prison. He told her, "You are a long, long way from changing your life. You deceitfully took part in a cocaine-fueled incident with other persons. Since the terrible offense took place, you kept the images unashamedly for your own sexual gratification. In the middle of all this, you failed to comply with the terms of an order, which some might say is a minor breach, but it's not for the first time. Your record is appalling, and it could be said you were astonishingly lucky not to go to prison previously." She was astonishingly lucky, because having CP, I don't know who wouldn't go to prison for that, first of all. I genuinely am astonished by that. I mean, I'm used to being disappointed, but this is just a new low. At this point, we're not even at rock bottom, we're way below that. And I agree with this judge who said that she's a long way from changing her life, because clearly there is a pattern of depravity, really. There was the CP years ago, and then now there's the bestiality, and who knows what else there is, and who knows if it's continued and they just haven't found evidence, or she's been smarter at hiding it. So this is the kicker. Goodyear sobbed on the dock as she was told she will serve 20 months behind bars, which included the activation of the 4-month sentence she had in suspension of when committing the act. 20 months. I don't even know what to say about that. 20 months for animal abuse, on top of the fact that I don't know how the law works, but I feel like it's probably been too long since the CP thing happened for her to be like actually charged for it instead of getting a suspended sentence. I don't know how the law works, but it's been too long, because it was like 2006, 2007. But I still feel like there should have been jail time there, and I wish she could get like retroactive jail time now for that, because it's insane to me that she never did. And again, 20 months for animal abuse is crazy to me, especially since people get crazy amounts of jail time for drugs, which, fine, drugs are bad, don't do drugs, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it's just like, are we really going to be more harsh on people for marijuana than for animal abuse and CP? Is that really where we're at right now in the world? Yes, and it is deeply depressing. Anyways, guys, you can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is 20 months a fair sentence in your opinion? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.